before that, we heard Jay-Z, My Beach is Better. Yeah.
We are back. We're live on Duke's Corner. We're talking about some social stuff. We're talking about social injustice, and we were talking about hip hop. We're talking about Black Lives Matter, and we got Amelia Parker from Peace Brigades, and we're going all over the world. But yeah, so I know we mentioned the Confederate flag. Now, this is way back a couple years ago. That's crazy. I can say a couple years ago on Duke's Corner. But a couple years ago on Duke's Corner, I brought up Kanye West and his new clothing line. I don't know if it ever popped off or nothing ever happened, but the logo on his clothing line was the Confederate flag.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about the Confederate flag, at least asked about that. We're going to get into that. But in hip-hop, y'all might disagree, but it's actually been embraced a little bit, which was always confusing to me. Of course, Kanye, I think David Banner had one of his albums had the Mississippi flag on it. I know he's from Mississippi.
Lil Jon had it.
Little John, yeah. Pastor Troy, yeah. I remember rocking it. All the Southern artists, somebody else, Trinidad James in his video,
yeah,
had the Confederate flag. So Amelia, I want to hear your expertise on this Confederate flag. Does it belong in hip hop, or
no?
Just how do you feel?
No, it does not belong in hip hop. Who's listening? I wish this would go nationwide. No, it does not belong in hip hop.
No, and why not?
It's a symbol of hate. Come on. I don't want to hear anything about Southern heritage. You know, if you read your history books, if you know the history, it has nothing to do with Southern heritage. It is about hate and division, and it was about
body counts, slavery.
Yes.
Using slaves to build a nation.
Exactly, and if you look at how it was brought back in our, more recent history, it was brought back as a symbol of the South, wanting to, kind of hold on to the states' rights, liberties that they were given, if you want to call it that, to discriminate, essentially. Right. The way that our country functions with our federal system. But that's why it was brought back as a symbol to say, hey, if we want to discriminate against black people, if we want to enslave black people, we should be able to do it.
Well, a lot of people don't realize slavery really never ended. I'll just say that without going into that too deep. But I've never liked that flag. I don't even like Tennessee state flag. It reminds me too much of the Confederate flag. I don't like South Carolina flag. I don't like the Georgia flag. I don't like the Mississippi flag. I don't like it. I didn't like it when Kanye was we try to flip. Why do we try to flip everything, Amelia? That's my question. In hip hop, we try to flip everything, the N-word, everything. We try to flip everything that's been thrusted on us negatively. Oh, we can flip. Everything doesn't need to be flipped.
No, it doesn't. But you know what that is that's a people struggling for some power and some self-determination. And they're saying, if I can't make some major changes in this country to make it actually my home and the home for future generations that come from me, then, I'm going to try to embrace some pieces of it and change the narrative and change the definition around it, so that I can have some pride in my own place where I live.
We've talked about the N-word a little bit on Duke's Corner. Within the last couple years, have quit using that word. Used to be a rapper, and it was one of my favorite words to rhyme with. But I've just dropped it. I just don't think it has a place. I know that's a whole nother show, but Elise, did you want to comment any more about the Confederate flag? I know you started that conversation.
I just want to read a quote from the man who created the Confederate flag that I saw the other day. And his last name was Thompson, but I can't find his first name right now. But in creating the flag, he said, as a people, we are fighting to maintain the heaven-ordained supremacy of the white man over the inferior or colored race. A white flag would thus be emblematic of our cause. Upon a red field would stand forth our Southern Cross, gemmed with the stars of our Confederation, all combined preserving in the blue contrast. So, essentially, it represents racism, and for anybody to say it's Southern pride, it's BS.
Yeah.
Yes.
Essentially, yeah.
And,
Fraction of it, maybe? Like,
No.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
and even as rappers, like them trying to wear it and having it at their album cover and Kanye wearing it, I think that part of it is like them trying to stir the pot, but it makes me also think of this Bob Marley quote that says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Yeah.
And we're not able to do that because we're too busy. We're too focused on trying to entertain and chuck and jive. Like,